Hello everyone, I'm Jackie Chen Science. I will take you into science and field history. Come with me. How terrifying was the legendary Black Death? In the mid-14th century, Europe, a terrifying plague like the size of death. It took 25 million lives in just 6 years. The infected skin turned a strange blue-purple. There were egg-sized lumps in the armpits and groin, and black spots all over the body constituted the most terrifying mark of the plague. The origin of this disaster can be traced back to a war in 1346. At that time, the Mongol Golden Horde's army was besieging the port city of the Black Sea. A plague suddenly broke out in the Kaffa camp. Faced with the stalemate that could not be broken, the Mongol commander Zanibi made a horrifying decision. He decided to roll the corpses of the plague-stricken soldiers and throw them into the city of Kaffa with catapults. These stinky corpses became the earliest biological weapon in history and soon caused a plague in the city. Surviving Italian merchants fled by boat, bringing the deadly plague bacillus to the Mediterranean coast, which opened the prelude to the European plague outbreak. At this time, Europe was in the dark Middle Ages. City planning was chaotic. Streets were full of sewage and garbage piled up like mountains. People didn't bathe. They generally believed that bathing would open pores and cause diseases. The church even claimed that not bathing was a holy symbol. Under the double influence of history and church, Europeans took pride in not bathing for a long time. Over time, this poor hygiene environment created a breeding ground for mice and fleas. When merchant ships carrying the plague bacillus arrived in Constantinople, the bacteria spread rapidly in Europe. In October 1347, the epidemic broke out in Sicily and then spread to Marseille, France, Barcelona, Spain. It landed in England in 1349. It spread to Northern Europe in 1550. The population of the prosperous Florence city dropped by 81%. On the streets of London, thousands of corpses were transported out of the city. The whole of Europe was plunged into a hellish scene. Facing this unprecedented disaster, the medical system in Europe completely collapsed. Doctors also used the ancient Greek humoral theory, believing that diseases were caused by fluid imbalance. So they used bloodletting, vomiting, and even drinking urine and other absurd methods, which instead accelerated the deaths. The church's prayers were also ineffective, so clergy died in large numbers. People's faith in religion began to collapse. In despair, people vented their anger on scapegoats. Jews paid attention to hygiene, with lower mortality rate, were falsely accused of poisoning. They were brutally killed. In Mainz, Germany, in 1349, 6,000 Jews were killed in one day. Similar atrocities took place all over Europe. In this catastrophe, a group of special doctors stood up. French Dr. Charles invented a bird-shaped gas mask. The whole set, including a black robe made of tallow oilcloth, leather gloves, and a cane. The beaks were filled with camphor, mint, and other spices to filter the air. Although these doctors with beak-like masks had limited medical skills, they always stayed in the frontline epidemic areas. They held wooden sticks to avoid direct contact with the infected. They checked patients' conditions door to door. They tried various methods to treat, including bloodletting, removing lumps, even using leeches. Although these methods seem almost barbaric today, but at that time, they were the last hope for people to fight the plague. Many doctors were infected with the plague, but they still persisted in treating patients. They became the pioneers in the dark. The Black Death brought not only death, but also led to profound social changes. The disappearance of one-third of Europe's population, resulting in a severe shortage of labor. The serfdom gradually disintegrated. The surviving laborers were paid more and gained more freedom, which accelerated the emergence of capitalism. The authority of the church collapsed during the plague. People began to question the omnipotence of God. Humanism quietly emerged, which laid the ideological foundation for the Renaissance. Public health awareness also emerged in the disaster. In places like Nuremberg in Germany, established the earliest public health system, which promoted cities to focus on garbage disposal, sewer construction, and the popularity of public baths. Until the 19th century, scientists isolated plague bacillus, revealed the truth that fleas were the vector. The invention of antibiotics in the 20th century finally made the plague no longer incurable. Those doctors in bird costumes, their figures against the current in the dark, will be forever engraved in the history of humanity's fight. The history of the Black Death warns us that the progress of civilization is often accompanied by pain. The courage and wisdom that humans burst out in desperation will eventually lead us to a brighter future.